two people are coming, they are coming from two different uh, not just environment but two different backgrounds. They are coming together, so counseling helps, you know helps to soften the shock, because marriage, it's a different ball game entirely. You have two different people coming to start a life, to build a life together. So counseling helps so much in preparing you for what to expect when you get into the marriage institution. So I believe counseling is very important. It depends on the type of counseling you're talking about. If you're talking about sickle cell or their health issues, I would say no. You don't necessarily have to wait until you're planning to get married before you get counseling. Counseling comes in different forms. There are different types of counseling. So generally, for life, for well-being, for your well-being, I think that people need, once in a while, they need to be counseled on how to handle life, how to handle their health, and how to handle certain things and certain decisions in their lives. So generally, counseling is good. It's not, you don't have to wait until you're about to get married before you decide, to get counsel from people that have been there and have done that, or have seen it, or understand better certain situations. There's a popular saying, that a problem shared is a problem half solved. So when you hold things and you keep to yourself, you're not necessarily helping yourself, neither are you helping whoever it is that you're getting into a relationship with, or the people around you that love you. I personally encourage that each and every person has at least an individual that you trust enough to pour out your worries, your concerns, your thoughts, your fears, and your desires. Someone that you can just vent to. Sometimes just venting helps you to just relieve the tension and pressure. But by the time you keep piling issues and problems, and you're hiding and hiding, you realize that at the point where you are about to make a commitment and you decide to now open up, it becomes too late. Most times it becomes too late. So it's better to just, I would advise, that everyone and anyone that is listening to me right now, get someone you can actually confide in and get help and get counsel, or pour out your heart to. It helps. It goes a long way to help even our mental health. When two people are planning to start a life together, they are coming from two different backgrounds. Most times, if you're having intertribal or interracial unions, it even becomes more difficult. So I believe that when they come to the point of counseling, especially marriage counseling, the counselors give them certain questions and compatibility tests, that they get to answer, not necessarily to discourage them or to point out their faults or whatnot, but to let you know that you are two different people coming together. You are aware that this person is not perfect. We might not necessarily agree on these things, but there's a way around that we can go around solving these issues. You have topics like conflict resolution in marriages. When you're doing counseling, those things help prepare you. Most times, as a matter of fact, when people go into counseling, they find out that they are compatible. There are so many things that they agree on, that they think alike. There are so many issues that they think alike. They have the same opinion about, that they wouldn't have even understood or known if they had not gone into counseling. So yeah, counseling helps a lot with compatibility and all that. It just helps you see that marriage is a different ballgame entirely. It's not the same with just dating. Genotype, medically, of course, your genotype would affect your compatibility, because if it's not advisable for someone that is SS to get married to someone else that is SS, they are not compatible. There's no question about it, So I would say, when you're looking at it from the aspect of medicine or health-wise, you know, yes, it affects, compatibility, but yeah, any other way, well, it's compatibility. You decide if you're compatible with the person or not. For someone that is yes, you know, deciding to marry or settle down with someone else that is heirs, you have to know and understand, first of all, what you're getting into. Is a risk. You know, we know that generally life is about risk. So you are taking a risk, and you have to really sit down and count the cost, and ask yourself if you are willing to go through, whatever the future throws at you, because if somewhere along the line you give birth to a child that has sickle cell, who is SS and manifests, and that child is innocent, and they go through a lot of pains, and they go through a lot of struggle, they go through victimization and so many things, like that. So are you ready as a parent to give birth to a child and allow that child and watch that child go through that almost all through their lives, and then sometimes, surviving some of those crises that they have to that they have, along the way? It's the chances of survival are sometimes is quite slim. So are you ready to put your child through that? Sometimes, most times, we make decisions that are selfish. We don't think about who it affects. So for me, if I encounter people or a couple that are both carriers and they are considering coming together, it's just to lay what their options and lay the truth, plain to them, and ask them serious questions, hard truths. Are they ready? Can they, by the time they get into the marriage, and 10 years, 20 years after that, will their marriage, will their relationship be able to withstand the pressure and the stress and the pain and all the agony that comes with handling these issues? Of course, we know that chances are that they will give birth to carriers. Chances are that they might even give birth to a child that is AA, but are you willing to take the risk? Is it worth it? Is this relationship worth it? Except if they don't really, they are not bothered about having biological children. We have other options. They can go ahead and adopt. That's an option. At least you cut off the risk of giving birth to a child that has sickle cell. I think that even as a child, every parent, when you give birth to your child and you are not sure, of your own genotype, take your kids, carry out the test. As a matter of fact, health right now, the technology now, we have technologies that you can go ahead and even get a genotype test, check your child. Even in the womb, they do it these days, just the way they carry out DNA tests for babies, that are not yet born, unborn babies. You can go ahead and check their genotypes, and your child should not grow up to find out that this is my genotype. The parent should be responsible for that. I can't remember at what age I had my blood group test carried out and all that, but I think I was quite young. And I think sometimes they even do it when you're some schools, when you're going into secondary school or so. People carry out some schools that are health conscious, because they want to know the health of the child and track so that there are no eventualities in the future. They carry out this test. So you don't have to wait till you're old or about to get married before you carry, or when you're sick. Some people wait until they are sick and they go to the hospital and test is being carried out on them before they are told, oh, this is what's wrong with you. I think that you should do it as early as possible. And if you are an adult and you are not sure of your genotype, please go and test yourself and check yourself and check your genotype. No child comes. You don't form yourself. You don't create yourself. We don't even choose. We don't choose our parents. not to talk of our genotype or whatever ailments we come out with. You know, for children, life just happens. Any individual that is born with sickle cell didn't choose to come out. If they had the choice, they would want to come out as non-carriers. They would want to come out healthy. So it's not right. It's not fair. I don't believe it is. I think that the more people are educated on things like this, the more they are enlightened to know that, nobody chooses who they are or who their parents are or how they come out, or what they even look like. It will go a long way, to help people, because I think most times people do that out of ignorance. People do that out of ignorance. But if you're enlightened, you're educated, and you understand these things, you wouldn't want to go the route of stigmatizing someone that cannot or had nothing to do with their health status. Even if they did have something to do with their health status, I don't think anybody has the right to stigmatize anybody, because anything could happen to anybody at any point. It's just life. Life just happens, so it's not right. Creating an awareness, especially, among youths. Once you start early, as early as possible, as a matter of fact, once a child can understand you clearly, understand what you are saying, it's good to start talking, getting discussions about this, and encouraging them to talk about it so that they understand. Because if you really look at it, when we were kids, you had the most mocking and how do I put it now? Sometimes kids can be mean. Young people, teenagers can be mean because they don't understand certain things. Nobody sat them down to explain, oh, this is how it is, this is why, this is the way it is. So I would encourage, that as young as possible, every young person, every child that can understand, every young girl, every young boy, every teenager, they should be involved or encouraged to be involved in discussing these things, especially sickle cell, because as a matter of fact, you'd be surprised at how many young people are ignorant of the fact that there's a disease like this that exists, or there's an ailment rather, like this that exists. So young people need to be told at an early age so that they would understand. If you tell a child that this is what is wrong, this is how it comes about, it's not the person's fault and all that, and then you let them understand that because it is not their choice, you don't have any right, to stigmatize or to bully them and all that. That child grows up with that consciousness and that compassion. Instead of just growing up ignorantly, moving around ignorantly, you just see people and you don't really understand the depth of what they are even going through, and you're putting them down. So I would encourage, of course, that more of this should come up among the youths, young people, and even children. It should come out. Discussions like this should come up so that they would be aware of the things that are happening around them. We cannot deny the fact that miracles happen. For some people, that belief is their reality. There are people that walk in that belief as their reality, and it works for them. There are others that it doesn't necessarily work for. So I think, well, it depends on how they were counseled and all that. If you believe that it's going to work for you, well, reality will set in when it sets in. When you begin to handle the crisis and all that. If you believe strongly, then God will give you the strength, to go through it and handle it, or whatever it is that you believe in, will give you the strength to handle it and go through it. But well, we can't necessarily put down our job, is just to advise and to show whoever it is the pros and cons, and just leave them to decide what they want to do. My name is Linda Obed Kure. I'm a co-pastor with Ignite Christian Center. I'm a businesswoman and a music minister.